welcome back to C2 Novel and Vocab Week 7. Woo! Thank you for joining me, and let's get started. Again, if you've already watched these videos, go ahead and skip to the first word. But if this is your first week watching, stay and listen. So, hi! My name is Miss Kimberly. And the goal of our session is to have students understand each word in our vocabulary workbook and be cognizant of some phrases from the novel that may be difficult to understand, and I'll be here as your guide to help you through it all. So what is today's agenda? First, we'll be going over Week 7 vocabulary. Secondly, we'll be going over extra example sentences. And third, we'll go over difficult phrases from our novel in the next video. And 4, we'll have to review and self-study after both videos. But why are we doing this? First, we're going over Week 7 vocabulary for vocabulary acquisition by learning the definition, synonym, antonym, and the part of speech of a word. This can significantly and greatly improve your reading comprehension and enhance contextual usage. Second, we'll be going over extra example sentences, and this is to help with your writing variation. By looking at a variety of example sentences with a specific vocabulary word, students can learn how to use the word in different sentence structures. So, let's get started. Please, if you don't already, go ahead and get your vocabulary workbook and turn with me to Week 7, and that is on page 56. Everyone, page 56. Are you there? Good, good, good. Let's go. Number 1, everyone repeat after me and say shame. Shame. The synonym is humiliation, and the part of speech is noun. The definition says an uncomfortable feeling of guilt or of being ashamed because of one's own or someone else's poor behavior. So you're just like, you feel embarrassed, you feel a bit of shame. In our TED Talks, it says, people often feel a sense of shame after they have done something wrong. So you may feel a bit bad or some kind of uncomfortable feeling within yourself, and that's called shame. The example, let's read together. 1, 2, 3. I was overcome with shame for making such a silly mistake and felt depressed. Oh my. This person made a mistake and felt super sad and felt a lot of shame. That's okay. Mistakes can help us learn if we don't repeat the same mistakes over and over again. Let's look here. It says, it was hard to hide her shame after being caught cheating on the test. Yes, that there is no mistake. That's something that they had done on purpose, so they felt a bit of shame. Next one. He couldn't shake off the shame he felt after telling a lie to cover up his mistake. So, he said a lie to try to cover up what he did wrong, and then he felt a bit ashamed that he couldn't just shake off, meaning he couldn't get rid of. Shame. Number 2, everyone say commute. Commute. It's a noun, and this is a regular journey between your work and your home. But for your case, since you guys don't go to work, it could be your commute to maybe school. In our TED Talks, it says, my commute to work usually takes an hour, even longer if there is a lot of traffic. Yikes. So yes, if there's traffic, going to and from work can be quite long. Let's read the example together. 1, 2, 3. My commute to work involves a 1-hour bus ride, so I like listening to music. So like this picture above, this man is going to work, but instead of just sitting there and just staring out the window, he's listening to music and enjoying his time on the bus. Let's look here. It says, the commute between 2 cities can be exhausting, especially during rush hour. So again, kind of like the ones from before where I said there's a lot of traffic. Rush hour is also like when people are going to and from work and it's a lot of cars out there. Next one, it says, the train makes his commute faster, but it's often crowded in the mornings. Yes. I've been on a subway in the morning before during the morning commute of the office workers in Korea. And my, it is hard to find a seat and you're kind of squished sometimes. Commutes. Maybe you guys commute to school by walking, riding your bike, your parents driving you, or maybe the school bus. Number 3, everyone say detour. Detour. It is a noun and it means a different route or route that is used because a road is closed. So you go this way regularly, but because our road is closed, you have to take a detour, go around it. In our TED Talks, it says the road is closed for repair, so we have to take a detour. Again, maybe like that picture above, there's like a little hole in the road, so they had to do some repairing there, so they had to take a detour around it. Let's read the example together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We had to take a detour to avoid the giant hole in the road. Yes, you definitely don't want to be driving on top of that, for sure. Let's look here. It says the bus took a detour through the countryside, giving us beautiful views of the fields. That would be very nice if you were taking a detour around and had the time. Next one, it says we had to take a detour because the main road was closed for construction. Yes, usually there's a detour because there's an accident, there's some kind of construction happening, or there's some kind of repairing having to do with the road. Everyone say detour. Good. Number 4, everyone say consensus. Consensus. The synonym is agreement, and the antonym is disagreement. It's a noun and it means an opinion that all members of a group agree with. So everyone needs to agree. We're like, okay, everyone good. Okay, good. We all agree. In the TED Talks, it says, an effective team listens to everyone's idea, then tries to come to a consensus. So we're all listening to everyone's ideas, and we say, okay, how about we do some of this and this, and then we all agree to one. Example, let's read together. 1, 2, 3. All the team members came to a consensus on the new business proposal. So again, here in this group of workers, everyone had to agree with what was going to change so that they were able to go ahead with their job. Consensus. Let's look here. It says, after a long discussion, the group reached a consensus on where to go for lunch. So say that some people wanted to eat pizza, someone wanted to eat Korean food, someone wanted to eat pasta, but they all had to come up to a consensus and everyone had to agree with one type. Next one, it says the consensus among the class was to have a pizza party for the end of the school year. I would love to have a pizza party. Can we all come to a consensus and agree on this one? Very good. Number 5, we're going to switch into our novel words, and this word is jiffy. Everyone say jiffy. Jiffy. The synonym is a moment, and the part of speech is a noun. It means a very short time, like very quickly, very short time. And in the book, it says their troubles were all over in a jiffy. They were dead and gone in 35 seconds flat. Meaning they're gone in 35 seconds, that quickly. Example, let's read together. 1, 2, 3. I completed the puzzle in a jiffy, so I was done within minutes. My. If I were able to finish a puzzle in a jiffy, I would feel quite proud. Usually a puzzle takes me a few days, especially the long ones with like 5,000 pieces. Yikes. Let's look down here. It says the microwave heats up leftovers in a jiffy, making it so convenient. Yes, we don't have to recook the food all over again. We just pop it in the microwave and ding, within 30 seconds it's nice and hot again. And the next one is a very short one. It says, I'll be ready to go in a jiffy. So usually say that your parents are waiting for you, right? And they're like, come on, Kimberly, let's go. We gotta go to dinner. And we're like, I'll be ready in a jiffy. Something that you can use anytime. I'll be ready to go in a jiffy. Meaning I'll be there quickly. Number 6, everyone say vast. Vast. The synonym is immense, and the antonym is minuscule, which means very, very small. It's an adjective, and it means very great in extent, size, amount, degree, or intensity. So it's just meaning very big. And in our book, it says, and all at once he found himself alone and frightened in a vast, unfriendly world. So he's now in this world where he has kind of no one to lean on, in an unfriendly world. Example, let's read together. 1, 2, 3. The vast desert stretched out before the travelers with no end in sight. So if you look at this picture above too, it's a very big and vast desert. We can't really see where it ends, right? You just see the horizon where the sun is. It's very big. Over here. It says the ocean is so vast that it seems to go on forever, meeting the sky at the horizon. Kind of just like the one above, but changed that picture from a desert into a sea. Next one, it says the vast forest is home to many different types of plants and animals, right? A forest is very big, and it's not just a habitat to one animal, but to a variety. Number 7, everyone say filthy. Filthy. The synonym is nasty, and the antonym is spotless, meaning it is clean. So what does filthy mean? It's an adjective, and it means very dirty and unpleasant. Eee. And in the book it says, they always refer to him as you disgusting little beast, or you filthy nuisance. These are the aunts, right? Calling James these different names. Not very nice at all. And let's read the example together. 1, 2, 3. After neglecting to clean her room for weeks, it looked like a filthy junkyard. Meaning, because she didn't clean up her room, it looked super dirty and filthy. Down here, it says, after playing in the mud, the dog was absolutely filthy and needed a bath. Of course, if a dog is rolling around in the mud and in the dirt, of course it's going to get filthy and dirty. It's not going to be clean after that. Next one, it says, the abandoned house was filthy with dirt and trash everywhere. Meaning no one lived in this house, so they left a lot of trash there for some reason. Next one, everyone say ramshackle. Ramshackle. And as you can see, one of our vocabulary words from last week is the synonym. Everyone say dilapidated. Dilapidated. And the antonym is well kept. It's an adjective, and it means badly made and likely to break or fall down easily. So ramshackle, as you can see in the picture above, is not in the best condition. It looks kind of old and rusty and not the best place to be. In our book, it says, they lived, I should say they, not the, they lived in a queer ramshackle house on the top of a high hill in the south of England. So the aunts lived in a very old type of house. Ramshackle. Looks like it's going to fall down. Example, let's read together. 1, 2, 3. This ramshackle house is falling apart and is in desperate need of repair. So again, here you can see that this house is about to fall down and they need to fix it soon. Next one here. It says they carefully walked through the ramshackle barn. Why do you think they carefully walked through the ramshackle barn? Maybe because it's filthy. Maybe because if they step on something, maybe it's going to fall over. Who knows? The next one, it says, the ramshackle fence barely stood upright, with pieces of wood missing and leaning. So this fence was very old and not in the best condition, and it looked like it was going to fall down. Ramshackle. Number 9, everyone say ghastly. Ghastly. The synonym is horrifying, and the antonym is pleasant. It's an adjective, and ghastly means very frightening and unpleasant. And in our book it says, and there they sat, these 2 ghastly hags sipping their drinks. Meaning these aunts were not the best or not the most pleasant people there. They're very frightening and horrifying. Example, let's read together. 1, 2, 3. The abandoned buildings were a ghastly sight, terrifying anyone who passed it. So maybe those old buildings with no one there, it looked really scary, so it was very frightening and ghastly. Here, it says the ghastly scene in the horror movie made everyone in the theater scream. Because it was such a scary and horrifying sight, everyone's like, ghastly. Next one, it says the haunted house had ghastly decorations that scared even the bravest visitors. Halloween's coming up too, I'm scared. So here, this haunted house had these decorations that looked really terrifying and scared a lot of people. Ghastly. Wonderful, everyone. Let's turn the page. We're now on page 58. Number 10, everyone repeat after me and say stale. Stale. The synonym is musty, and the antonym is fresh. It's an adjective, and stale means having an unpleasant taste or smell, especially from being no longer fresh or new. So it means it's kind of old. So it has this weird smell and taste. In the book, it says the breath smelled musty and stale and slightly mildewed, like air in an old cellar. Ooh, just thinking about that sentence makes me want to. It means that their breath smelled really bad. Let's read the example. Ready? 1, 2, 3. The dusty room smelled stale since it had not been cleaned in years. Ooh! You know, like when we live at home, we should open our windows from time to time to, you know, let the fresh air from outside come in so that we don't have like a stale smell in our house. That's what this means. Here. It says the cookies were stale, so no one wanted to eat them anymore. So maybe these cookies were from like 3 months ago. And you know, they're not fresh cookies anymore, so they're like not very good. Next one. It says he took a bite of the stale cracker and immediately spit it out because it tasted awful. So he had a cracker and he threw it out. Stale. So again, stale can be unpleasant taste or smell. Number 11, everyone say bulge. Bulge. The synonym is to swell, and the antonym is to shrink. It's a verb, and it means to stick out, but not just stick out like this, like my finger, but it has to stick out in a round way. In the book it says, I can actually see the thing bulging and swelling before my very eyes. This is when the peach was growing bigger and bigger and bigger. But what's another way that we can think of this? Let's read the example together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. He ate so much food at the buffet that his stomach bulged out. Yikes. So if you ever go to a buffet and you eat like maybe 10 plates, of course your stomach is going to bulge out. I don't think it would shrink after 10 plates of food at a buffet, right? Let's look here. It says his pockets began to bulge with all the candy he had stuffed into them. So he kept putting candy in his pocket, and his pocket would bulge, 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 get bigger and bigger and bigger. The next one, it says, the suitcase started to bulge because she packed too many clothes inside. Yes, that usually happens to my suitcase too. If I put in too much, it starts having like a big belly, like the picture above, because of it bulging. Number 12. Everybody here with me still? Following along? Number 12. Everyone say spellbound. Spellbound. The synonym is captivated, and the part of speech is an adjective. The definition says having all of one's attention completely held by something. So you're kind of like under a spell, right? Under magic, you're like, oh, wow, spellbound. In the book it says, as for James, he was so spellbound by the whole thing that he could only stand and stare and murmur. He's like, oh, wow. Spellbound. So it means like you have your total attention on something because of something. You're like amazed by something. Example, let's read together. 1, 2, 3. The magical creature captured our attention and had us spellbound. Meaning under, like, as if we were under a magical spell. Here, it says, the movie was so exciting that everyone watching was spellbound until the very end. So there is no part of the movie where they're kind of like bored. They're just like, oh, wow, so much fun. Kind of like this video, right? Next one. It says, the audience was spellbound by the singer's beautiful voice during the concert. So they're like, oh, wow, she has such a beautiful voice. She's such a good singer. Whoa. Spellbound. Number 13, everyone say station. Station. The synonym is position, and this is a verb. We're using this word as a verb. It says to go somewhere and stand or sit there, especially to wait for someone or something. So you're stationed at a place, meaning you're put and you're positioned in that place for a certain role or duty. In the book it says, these two crafty women stationed themselves at the front gate with a large bunch of tickets. So they're just there with the tickets and waiting for people to come in to look at the peach. Example, it says, 1, 2, 3. We stationed ourselves at the entrance of the restaurant to greet guests. So as you can see in the picture, when you go to a restaurant, usually there's someone standing there in America called the hostess. And they're stationed there to greet and say hello to people and then take them to their seats at a restaurant. Stationed. Let's look here. It says the teacher stationed herself near the playground to keep an eye on the students during recess. So she wasn't just playing and walking around anywhere. She stood there, she positioned herself, she stationed herself at the playground so that she could watch people so that they don't fall or get hurt. Next one, it says they stationed a lifeguard at the beach to watch over the swimmers. Yes, if you have been to Haeundae Beach or Gwanghwaneonli Beach recently, there are these big chairs for the lifeguards that are stationed at different spots so that people can have a lookout and watch people to make them safe. Station. Number 14, everyone say seething. Seething. The synonym is swarming and the antonym is deserted. The part of speech is adjective, and the definition says crowded and full of restless activity, meaning there's a lot of people there. Let's read what the book says. It says, by lunchtime, the whole place was seething, a mass of men and women and children, all pushing and shoving. Yikes. I mean, there's so many people there. It was crowded. Just too many people. Example, let's read together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Every morning, the seething streets are filled with busy people going to work. Yes, as you know, when we have people commuting to work outside in the city, there's so many people walking by. Let's look down here. It says, the stadium was seething with fans all cheering loudly for their team. So if you've ever been to the baseball stadium here in Busan, I haven't, but I saw on TV that it is seething with people. There's so many people there going to these baseball games these days. Seething. Next one, it says, the market was seething with people, making it hard to move through the crowded aisles. Yes, as you know, when it's a crazy holiday season, the market is seething with people because everyone needs to buy stuff to cook. I think that's soon with the Chuseok holiday coming up as well. Seething. Number 15, everyone say morph. Morph. The synonym is alter and the antonym is remain. It's a verb and it means to change into something else. So to morph into something else, to change from one thing to another. In the book it says, and this is for your textbook now, it says, who knew I would morph from a Cincinnati kid into a turtle-obsessed beach volunteer? Meaning, who knew I would be just a random city kid and I would morph into, or I would change into this beach volunteer who loves turtles. Let's read the example together. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. I was shocked to see the man morph into a werewolf right before my eyes. Huh? This man changed into a werewolf. Huh? As you can see in the picture. Let's look down here. It says the caterpillar morphed into a beautiful butterfly after staying in its cocoon. So as you know, a caterpillar doesn't just stay a caterpillar its whole life. It will morph into a cocoon and then morph into a butterfly. Next, it says the clouds in the sky seemed to morph into different shapes as the wind blew. I love looking at clouds, right? One day I was just sitting outside watching the clouds move and, change shapes. But with the wind, they really do morph and change shapes. It's really cool to watch. You should watch it sometime. Number 16, everyone say, oh, disoriented. Disoriented. The synonym is confused and the antonym is oriented. It's an adjective and it means having lost one's sense of time, place, or identity. So they're very confused about what time it is, confused about where they are, confused about who they are. In the textbook it says, turtles can sometimes be disoriented by the bright lights of condos and hotels near the beach. So these big lights can kind of confuse them and make them a bit dizzy. Example, let's read together. 1, 2, 3. Since I did not get enough sleep last night, I felt disoriented and could not focus. Yes, if you don't get enough sleep, you will feel disoriented. I felt disoriented a bit last night. My eyes were stinging because I needed to hurry up and close them and go to sleep. But to feel disoriented, a bit confused. Let's look here. It says, after spinning around in circles, she felt dizzy and disoriented, unsure of which way to go. So after spinning, of course, you're going to feel dizzy and disoriented, right? No one's like, oh, I can walk in a straight line. Maybe you can. I'm not quite sure. It says, for the next one, the traveler felt disoriented after arriving in a new city where everything looked unfamiliar. Let me tell you, when I first came to Korea, I felt very disoriented. I came from a very quiet city in America, but then when I first moved to Korea, I was in Seoul, and all I saw were all these lights and signs in Korean. I felt very disoriented. Number 17, everyone say blunt. Blunt. The synonym is dull and the antonym is sharp. And this is an adjective and it means not having a sharp edge or point. So if you've ever had a dull or blunt knife before, it means it didn't really cut very well. It wasn't sharp. Let's look at what the book says. In our textbook, it says she is about 3 feet tall and has the large head and big blunt jaws of a loggerhead. Meaning it's not like a sharp jaw, but it's like a bit rounded. Example, let's read together. Butter knives are blunt because they are not used for cutting food. Yes, we just spread with butter knives so they don't have to be sharp. It's not like a steak knife. They're very different. Let's look here. It says the old knife was so blunt that it couldn't even cut through the soft bread. Oh my, if it couldn't cut through soft bread, that's very, very blunt. Next one, it says the blunt scissors struggled to cut through the thick paper. Yes, I've tried to use scissors that were very blunt before, and I couldn't even cut through the paper. I was like, and it wouldn't work. Has it happened to you? Number 18, the last word on page 59. Everyone say recruit. Recruit. The synonym is round up, and the part of speech is a verb. It means to persuade someone to become a new member of an organization or group. And in our textbook, it says, Graham's on her phone recruiting other volunteers to come to our location quick. So here it's like, oh, can you come here? Can you help us? You're recruiting. You're trying to persuade people to come. Example, let's read together. 1, 2, 3. The company wants to recruit more people because it is expanding rapidly. So maybe the small company started, but then it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, meaning they needed to get more workers, so they had to recruit people. Hey, come work for us. Our office and our company is the best. Let's look here. It says the soccer team needed to recruit a new goalie before the season started. So maybe their goalie moved away or they got hurt or who knows, but they didn't have a goalie, so they needed to recruit a new one. Come play soccer with us. The next one, it says they used social media to recruit participants for the upcoming marathon. So I know in social media that there are ads and stuff for things like this. Also, they're trying to recruit people. Say, hey, come and do our marathon and run with us. All right, let's go to page 60. We are now on the speech words. Number 19, everyone repeat after me and say, to start with. To start with. It is a phrase and it means at the beginning or as the first of several things. So to start with, in the beginning, or so on and so forth after that. Maybe you're going on a list. We have to read this one together because there's only one example sentence. So are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Curious minds asking questions are an important step to start with for great achievements. So in order to do a good and have success, you need to have a curious mind. That's what you need to start with. Let's look here. It says, to start with, make sure you understand the rules before playing the game. That's with any game, right? You shouldn't just play it. You need to understand the rules first to start with. Next one, it says, I'll have the salad to start with and then the steak. So when you order maybe food, you can order the appetizer and use this phrase as well. To start with, and then what else will you get after? To start with. Number 20, our last word. Everyone say wish. Wish. The synonym is desire and the antonym is reject. It's a verb and it means to want something to happen or to be true, even though it is likely or impossible. The example sentence, let's read together. 1, 2, 3. I wish to become the first person to explore Saturn. Wow, this is what they want to do, but maybe it won't be very likely. Here, it says, she wished for a snow day so she wouldn't have to go to school. I'm guilty of this when I was younger. I would always wish for a snow day, hoping that there is no school the next day. So then we can just watch TV at home. Next one, it says, he wished for a puppy as he blew out the birthday candles. So I'm sure you always do this too. It's a tradition, right? For your birthdays, when you blow out the candles, after the birthday song, you have to make a wish. A birthday wish. And that is all for this week. For this week, mission will be in our next video for when we are reviewing James and the Giant Peach. So make sure you watch that one as well. But for now, it is time for you to review and self-study. This is for contextual mastery. And please review all the words again. Read it out loud, not in your head. And complete the vocabulary homework pages on page 61 and 62. All right? Thank you for joining me again this week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!